Hello, friends. Welcome on in. I am so excited to have had the opportunity to interview our friend Manny from Lego Masters competing on Team G Dream. He was so much fun to talk to. You guys are going to get to see that for yourself. So let's just dive on in and check it out. We are ready to get started, folks. For our first Lego Masters interview, we are here with our friend Manny, or Emmanuel Garcia, who is part of Team G Dream, along with his wonderful pops Nestor, who unfortunately can't join us today. We're so excited to have you here. All right, guys, though, let's get started and let's get to know our guest here. So, Manny, if I can have you introduce yourself, just tell us a little bit general background, your age, location, job, etc. Give us the breakdown on you and what you're all about.
Okay. My name's Emmanuel Garcia. Everybody back in middle school called me Manny. I'm 36 currently now, and for the past 15 years, I've been doing hair, so I'm a barber. Went to beauty school, went to barber school. So a lot of my clients call me Manolo. Call me anything. Call me Lego enthusiast and fanatic. Ever since I was 4, I've been involved with Legos. Never thought in a million years that Lego and, playing with these bricks would take me to, the levels that I reached.
Yeah, absolutely.
But amazing experience that I had with Lego Masters. It's still,
awesome.
Doing the interviews with you, Nick, is just amazing. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. I'm excited to dive in and just learn more about everything about you and your experience on the show. So we're just going to start, if I may, asking you some questions. I've got a little list here. So first, why don't you tell us a little bit about your partner? I think it's a pretty cool partnership that you've got on the show. So who's your partner? What made you decide to want to have them as your partner? Give us a little bit of a breakdown of all of that.
Okay, I will. So, I created, I wanted, 2 years ago, I wanted to dive deeper into me being a fan of Lego, and I was put in a position on where I had the space. I rented the space out, and in the last 2 years I was able to create my Lego world display.
Amazing. And have your own little studio and everything like that, so you can get that building done.
I'm actually packing this stuff and I'm moving. We're gonna but I guess this whole started. Well, I'll get into my partner. This whole started 2 years ago when I did my Lego Instagram, and then last year I did this video, and that's how I got found, was with the casting and what they do over there, and they asked me to participate in this show called Lego Masters. And at first I thought it was fake. I thought it was fraud. I'm looking at DM message of this guy.
I know, random Instagram DMs, right? It's like, who the heck?
Yeah, it was like so fishy, but you know what? I responded, and then when I was talking to the individual pertaining to the casting, he told me, well, Manny, this is a group thing, so you need like a teammate or whatnot. And I'm like, holy smokes, holy tomato, like my dad said. I'm like, who am I gonna get? And at the time, I had, like this friend, and she said no. And next person that I thought of was my dad. So
awesome.
I called my dad, again, based off what I just said about, this DM and this show stuff. And, I got briefly into it, and I just simply told him, listen, Dad, I am in this position, this opportunity of, doing this show with Lego. What do you think? Can you help me out? And, if you could just picture my dad, like, shrugging his shoulders on the phone, like, yeah, sure.
I can see it, 100%.
Yeah. So that's actually, how it all turned about. And then my parents, they were the first ones who actually bought me my first Lego set, when I was 4 years old.
I love it.
I guess since rewinding back to when I was 4, I'm pretty sure that my dad saw this, shining in my eye when I saw
Yeah.
Lego bricks. So that was
100%.
something that they both continued as parents, to see me evolve, with these Lego bricks. I was like, listen, Dad, can you help me with this Lego thing? Naturally, his first instinct was like,
he just wants to support it. He just wants to support you and making that happen, right? So
I'm gonna say me and our dad, because he's just everybody's dad now. Me and my dad, we've just done so many things like outside of Lego. We have like that father-son respect, but we also have like that friendship, outside of that.
That's awesome.
So he could look at me and I already know what he's talking about without saying a word.
You got that like connection there.
So I asked my dad, and he said yeah, and I mean we made magic, Nick. We really made magic on the show.
That is awesome. So cool to hear about how you guys came together and just your history together and that awesome relationship you have. So super exciting. And obviously we got to see a good taste of just how close you two were on the show in the first episode. If you guys didn't see it, small spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't watched the first episode. There were a couple tears shed throughout some moments. Definitely almost got me going, man. That was a really, really special moment. So
when you ask me, how's it feel, being on Lego Masters with your dad? It's like I have to really dig deep. It's not something that I could just. It's not like words that I could just pick out of anything.
100%. 100%.
So
something very meaningful. Very, very meaningful.
Yeah, even now I'm over here like, man, I did something big with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And even till this day when people ask me, it still gets to me because I got the greatest chance to make my dad proud. For my 66-year-old dad and for me, myself at 36, to be placed in this opportunity of growth and just, learning more about each other. I mean, this is only this, movies are made out of this stuff. So.
Indeed. It's very, very unique. Very, very special. I like people like supportive parents are the best. I want to be like Manny's dad when I grew up. I love people just being so excited about hearing about it. So, so we obviously got an idea of when you first started building. You've been doing it since you were a little kid. It's been a lifelong thing for you. Did you have any like major breaks in your building throughout life? Or was it kind of Lego was always present, but maybe just a little bit more or a little bit less?
You know what? I'm actually going to admit this for the first time.
Okay. Exclusive.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I remember that I had, I took Spanish as, a course. That was just easy credits on high school.
Yeah.
But I remember, my Spanish teacher telling me, bring in like a project. And I remember that I brought in like this old school Technique truck.
Nice.
And I named it, it was my Spanish project, and I named everything in the car, obviously, with Spanish words, tires with goma, and stuff like that.
Very nice, very nice.
Again, to the question, there was a time in high school where, class was over, teacher, she's still pulling me out in the hallway like, hey, Manny, you left your Lego car. And I'm like, I'll pick it up next week. Year passes, and I would think now that was probably the one time where I wasn't that in
That's a pretty mild submission, Manny. You might not realize it. Most people go like years, maybe decades without touching Lego before they come back to it. So it's a very mild dark ages you have there.
I'm here looking back. I'm like, man, and throughout high school, I still didn't go back. I think this was like my sophomore year.
Gotcha.
But she always kept, persisting. Hey, Manny, can you pick up your car? I still have your Lego car. And to think that, I would think that was like the dark part.
Okay, gotcha.
Because if I was that, like now, I'm over here like scrambling to see if I can.
To get your hands on the pieces for sure. Yeah. 100%. Awesome. What are some of then, and actually, so sorry, backtracking just a smidge. What about your dad? Was your dad building with you when you were a kid? Or was it more that just like he helped inspire you, but not really did it with you? So like, what's your dad's building journey like then? When did he really get started with building? Was it because of the show or was it before that?
I'll admit, my dad is a hardworking man. My dad was an owner-operator, truck driver for like 17 years. So
busy.
That being said, I mean, my dad, he didn't like buy me neither. But I mean, there was instances, growing up. I mean, my dad helped me out Christmases, nice. Birthdays too. I mean, 5-10 minutes, but at the same time, his interest wasn't as big as mine.
Okay. Yeah.
But he has grandchildren. I mean, I have a sister. My sister has 5 kids.
Nice.
Her oldest is 18. So, I mean, yeah, for like the past 10, 15, 20 years, my dad has actually involved himself not only with me, but with his grandchildren.
Awesome. That's so
I mean,
beautiful.
it actually got to a point, I grew up and then I started, working, making money and stuff and buying my parents, Lego toys and Lego, stuffed men or whatever. I always got my parents, like Lego keychains or something.
Yeah. Always bringing the Lego in, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Love it. Love it.
I think because of the show, it actually brought my dad more into building.
No kidding.
and then, I mean, as much as we tried to prepare, again, this was a process. This all started back in July, and then we started doing everything back in October. So, I mean, we tried to get prepared as possible, getting together like every weekend and, at least running our fingers through, like the Lego suitcase that we have, or all the things that we have.
Yep.
Just to get a sense of feel on, elements and parts and, how we could just get these juices going. But
awesome.
I'll be honest, Nick, there was no amount of preparation.
No amount of preparation would be enough, to get ready for the show.
Yeah, because again, you see me here, like leisurely, just sifting through my Legos and, like, just imagine like after this, I'm just gonna kick off my shoes and, build some stuff, go downstairs, eat a sandwich, and get back to it.
Boom.
It's not that easy when you have the greatest, minds like Jamie and Amy telling you, listen, you got 15 hours to like...
Ugh, those time crunches.
Yeah.
Very
but
intensive.
I mean, again, it was all growth, even with my dad, him being my dad, we did bump heads. That was no secret. I mean, you guys will probably see that, throughout the show.
Mm-hmm.
But again, father and son relationship, I mean, we didn't beat ourselves that much.
Yeah.
End of the day, if there was anything that we weren't in agreement with, or if we didn't find ourselves like in the same page, whatever,
Gotcha.
we still found it in us, in the end of the day, to be like, you know what, Dad, I love you. Thank you so much for being a part of this.
Yeah.
I think that was like the most unique thing about us, is that no matter, what
challenges were before you.
Or, whatever position we found ourselves in, I still found my dad with like his right hand patting me on my back saying, you know what, Manny, I'm still proud of you. You gave it 110%.
Supporting each other.
Maybe the first episode or the first show, I mean, I listen to my dad, Nick. I don't want people to think I don't listen to my dad, but I listen to my dad, and so that's like one thing too. I don't want people thinking I don't listen to my dad. I really do hear him out. I take everything that he has into consideration. Throughout all the challenges. If people don't know, challenges did come with rules. Which was very important. Obviously, one of the rules for the first challenge was, have it built in 15 hours.
Of course,
make sure
time limits.
Stuff like that. So, I mean, we did listen. And again, our relationship was very dynamic too. I don't want people to think that I wasn't listening to my dad. I was listening to him. We did incorporate a lot of us in that build. As you can see, we did.
That was definitely very evident from seeing just the culture come in, what you guys love to do. So it was awesome just seeing you guys literally reflected in the brick. So it's safe to say now that the show aired. So and people got to see it. I mean, that was actually one of my dad's ideas. Awesome.
Hey, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
So that was actually something that I considered in our build. And throughout, the show Lego Masters, they asked my dad, they were like, well, how do you feel, Nestor, with the roles reversing? How do you feel your son taking the lead and declaring himself team leader while you are, the assistant, So basically, I'm Michael Jordan, you're Scottie Pippen, you're and my dad got that concept, so
Gotcha.
he, you know, let me do what I had to do, and at the same time, you know, I was listening to his feedback. My dad's the type that you show him A, B, and C, and he'll get to the end of the alphabet.
Cool.
You just have to know, you know, like this goes in.
Give him the first few, yeah. Give him a taste.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's so cool. I love it. Let's dive in and just get to know you a little bit better. Whether growing up or now, what were your favorite, like maybe like either a favorite Lego set, a favorite Lego theme, or favorite Lego pieces? If you can give us either one of each or one from any of those things, I would love to just know. Or Lego with you.
First, I would say my favorite Lego set. Man, you're making me go back. I really enjoyed the late 1990s Lego technique, like when they did like the race car, the black.
Oh,
I think it was 1990.
With the F1 racer?
Yeah, it was like the all black one.
I think so.
It had the white rims.
Yeah, that sounding right.
I forgot the part.
Who remembers the name or the set numbers? But
yeah, I was a big fan of those of the late 90s technique sets.
Awesome.
Big fan of those because I remember I was still, you know, like 11, 12 years old, and I'm over here thinking like, wow, that's so advanced. Wow, I can't wait to get my hands on that.
Yep.
And the Lego Castle. I mean, Lego Castle for me really does it. It gives you that opportunity just to get very creative with
it's
Lego
a fantasy
Castle.
world, right? Castle's all about dragons and knights and kings and horses.
I appreciate the story.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
so, you know, when asked me what's my favorite, you know, set, I've said yes. In an interview that I did last week, I will admit one of my favorite Lego sets is the Metalbeard Sea Cow.
Oh, yes.
From the Lego Batman. Yeah, from the Lego,
from the Lego movie. I was gonna be like, tisk tisk, Manny.
I think all the sets from the Lego movies are amazing. Even from Lego Batman. I mean, the new sets that they're doing with the movies, I think are just incredible. Like Apocalypseburg.
Beautiful.
Amazing. It's like, you know, it's one thing watching it in the movie, and I'm over here like, I specifically remember when that boat came out in that Lego ocean, and I'm over here like, I hope and I pray Lego comes out with this boat.
Yeah.
A couple months out, they came out with it, and I bought it. I mean, I ran to the store.
Yeah.
Lego ideas are amazing too.
Yeah. You didn't see the fan creations come to life?
When they came out with the Time Machine,
the DeLorean,
planer, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I was I still am a big fan of the DeLorean.
Back to the Future.
And as far as Lego elements, I am very happy with what Lego's doing now with the new elements that came out last year and this year.
Okay, new stuff, always exciting.
Yeah, and I mean, all the contestants, I think I was like the biggest one on that. You know, I was showing like, I don't know if they're watching, Mark and Boom, what's up? I remember I went up to Mark. I even went up to Aaron too, and I was like, "Did you see this new element that just came out?" And they're like, "No, where element is that?" So I'm always big on like the new elements that Lego comes out with.
Awesome to hear. I know we're gonna dive into that a little bit more in just a bit, but before we start to actually really get into the meat of the show, I want to ask you one more, and it's for you, and it's what's your own personal favorite Lego creation?
My own? Ooh, that's a good one.
You have it nearby, maybe even?
I do. You know what? Talking about castle and all this stuff, I think that this was the Lego castle that came out in 2012.
Okay, yeah.
You see it? This is the gray, blue, Lego Knight, or I'm not sure.
One of the kingdom things, whatever it is.
Yeah, it is. If you could see, well, I always base it off like the shields that they have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this one came out, 2012. So, I would think that I'm thinking now that this is one of my favorite ones because, as you can see, I actually incorporated. I'm in the road to redemption myself. This roller coaster actually works. And I actually
Gonna
have
be a fully rolling roller coaster.
in different sections.
Oh
So as
snap!
you can
Okay,
see,
I
like,
wasn't ready for this. He's got 2 parts.
yeah. So this
Awesome.
castle
Yeah.
actually has different sections. I'm counting
Awesome.
4
Dude,
here.
you don't have to go too crazy showing us. I don't want you to accidentally break anything like poor
Oh
Boone.
no, no. But this is actually one of my favorite ones. I'm gonna be showcasing this probably like in a few weeks.
Awesome.
So
I can't wait to see it.
You guys would see this. This is actually on my Lego Instagram, Viva
Okay, yeah.
Lego.
And we've got that link that's showing up on screen as well. So make sure you guys show Manny some love, and we'll have that in the video description as well.
Yeah, so I guess in the middle of me moving, I told myself, let me see if I could break this off in sections.
Okay, yeah.
I have 2 daughters, and the problem that I have throughout the years is that my daughters are very picky choosy. They want to play with the same thing.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
now
I gotcha.
I've taken Lego sets, and I've had this thing with just dividing a Lego set and having the same playability, you know, with one side from the other.
Gotcha.
So as far as this castle, I mean, if you catch it on my Lego Instagram, you can see that it's actually functioning. But I broke it down in sections that way, you know, if you still want to play with the castle, well, here goes this piece, you know. And if you all want to play with it, don't put it together.
Breakdown there.
That's what I'm starting to do with like all my Lego sets.
Awesome, making them modular, yeah.
Divide them. I do like these small modular buildings, and again, we always fought on who's gonna play with the pizzeria, who's gonna play with the store.
Yeah.
So I started dividing the floor, the building, and I'm over here like, well, you're gonna play with this. You're gonna play with this. It's still the same, structure, but
next level parenting right there. Just as Daisy saying in chat. I love it. So good. Yeah. So good. I love it. Awesome stuff. Okay. And kind of now jumping back a little bit to what we were talking about. What was it like being on the show with so much Lego? Like, I feel like we actually didn't get to see much of the Lego room in the first episode. So what was it like being in like an amazing space with all the Lego? How was it sorted? Was it like dream worthy? Was it maybe not as exciting as you thought? How did we feel about the access to all the bricks on the show?
Walking into that studio and seeing, even the Lego walls that they had that had like the Lego stud pattern. I mean, even seeing that was like, oh. But then you walk to like a certain part of the studio, and then you start seeing like all these multicolored, like bins, and like you're like, wait a minute, you're trying to tell me that I could run to that and stick my hands in it? Wait, you're gonna give me my own bin so I could pick? So then when you start getting to that, then everything starts clicking. Like you start getting into like,
pun intended.
I think Aaron said it best. He was like, the best part about Lego is like figuring stuff out in your mind or picturing something in your mind and then physically going out and making it real, making it happen. So I think, when you have that opportunity of 3 million bricks, it's like, well, why am I doing this? And, why am I confounding myself to this 16 by 16 base plate? Yeah. Why can't I just get like 16 base plates and, build, on top? So then you start thinking like that. Yeah, you start just thinking grander. I just wish we had more time,
Gotcha.
And then the pressure too is on.
Yeah, no kidding. So intense.
And I guess the hardest part about the whole thing is trying to figure out where you're going with everything, we're building Lego, but at the same time, you have to have story. You have to have, at least some sort of technical, build here. I mean, we could build anything with 2x4 stud bricks, but I mean, can you use technique? Can you use power functions? Can you use, smaller elements, So I guess tying all that in together in that room just made it, more epic, especially for the fanatic, the enthusiast,
Yep, that's awesome. Really great description. And I feel like it gives people a really good idea of what they might be able to expect if maybe they got involved in LEGO Masters in the future. So some helpful info there, no doubt. And then I would actually be curious, you had mentioned Jamie and Allie a little bit, but what was it like getting to interact with them throughout the show? What about Will Arnett and any of the special guests? I know they've only shown, I believe her name's Amy on the show, but the girl from Big Bang Theory. So what was it like interacting with all those people throughout the day? And how did that affect the competition?
Okay, so, I mean, Will Arnett, amazing.
Okay.
I mean, I still, a barbershop talk, we have this discussion at the barbershop. Who is the best Batman? Michael
Okay. Yeah.
Keaton. They say all the other actors, but I'm over here scratching my head. But I mean, Will Arnett did a
Will
pretty
Arnett,
awesome.
though, right?
Oh my God! Yeah, you're right. He's, so I'm always the one, convincing people like in a comedic way, the best Batman was Will Arnett. He is the best Batman. Let's not even kid about that.
No questions, folks. Said in right there.
Working with him, and I mean, his personality, and also him bringing in that Batman persona from the movie was just amazing. I mean, the guy was awesome. Even on, I think, weeks in the show, we saw 2 kids there, and we asked them amongst ourselves, well, whose kids are that? It was Will Arnett's kids.
No way. So cool. So cool.
So to see the guy, to see this guy bringing in his kids and incorporate his kids and work, this was work.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that, we all had fun doing this whole thing, but at the same time, this was work in progress.
Yep.
So for him to include his kids, it said a lot about him.
Yeah. 100%.
So I think the guy's awesome, to see
Fantastic.
that he has a relationship with his kids. His kids love Lego. I'm pretty sure that he's the same way, involves himself in the lives of his kids with Lego.
Yeah.
I'm just assuming, but that's the type of energy that Will Arnett gives off.
Awesome.
Real cool guy, and he's also a Lego enthusiast fanatic himself. So that's great.
Very
about
cool. Very good.
Jamie and Amy. Quick story. This was 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I'm on the Lego website.
Okay.
And I see, the videos for the new release sets that come out, and
all the designer videos.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, in one of the videos, I saw Jamie, and I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, man, it must be so cool.
Yeah.
To be able to work for Lego, build something, and then they giving this guy the chance to actually describe something that he built.
Yeah.
And that was 3-4 years ago, Nick. Fast forward to when he comes out.
Yep.
And he's standing, so you have Lego.
He's like an idol practically, right? The guy who makes the things that you love to build.
Yeah, when you have him standing right in front of you, all you want to do is thank him. Listen, thank you for being a beautiful mind. Thank you for the Lego stuff that you came up with. Thank you. That's basically all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
When you have these 2 iconic Lego figures in front of you, all you want to do is get into their head and find out, how do you do this? And but no, that wasn't the case. The case was for them to judge and critique and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure they also had a hard time doing that.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you could see it in their faces. What they really wanted to do was roll their sleeves up and be like, step aside. I can here.
They had to hold themselves back.
Yeah, that. You could see that. They had the toughest job, and I really give it up to them. You have to give Jamie and Amy a lot of credit. They are beautiful people. I mean, they were placed in the toughest position ever. They had to judge and critique people's Lego art. So
not easy.
That was tough, and I'm here thinking wow, I can't thank them enough for being part of this, and with their participation as well, that says a lot about who they are. Of course, they love Lego a lot, and I can't wait to see them again. To thank them for being a part of the show. They're just amazing, and
awesome.
Again, getting back to the growth, they were there not only to push us to do the best that we can. They were also there to watch us grow.
100%.
So they are like,
they were like your parents, like almost like your parents, maybe just like seeing their kids, you know, slowly grow over time and stuff.
Yes, because they want us to succeed not only in the show but outside. You know, when we get back home, they want to be able to see that they took their Lego creation at home to a higher level based off what they learned and, you know, everything. I mean, all the tips, all the tricks, all the, you know, different things that we could do with Lego. Yeah, we learned a lot in the show.
That's awesome. So good. So good. So exciting to hear that they were just like excited about supporting you too. You just gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like definitely something we didn't really get a sense of, because the show really portrayed them as like pretty much the bad guys, like always getting in there, critiquing, being like, why aren't you doing this? Like, so to hear that it was coming very much from a place of care is kind of contradictory to what we got to see on screen. So it's good to know that is really the story there, which is nice.
Yeah. I think the one problem that I admit that I had was always getting like a little ahead of myself, or maybe not a little, maybe a lot. And that's what my dad was good for. My dad was good at catching me, not getting too far, or, you know, not receding too, you know, because I never try to go backwards. I try to always push forward and move forward. But at the same time, you know, we have to count our steps and not get too ahead of ourselves, lose our way of thinking and stuff like that. It was amazing. I mean, I
got a few more for you. So I'm gonna keep picking things out of your brain. And we do have a couple people in chat. Our friend True Prime wanted to let you know that they loved your build on the show. Lots of people. Actually, Kate was popping in to say hello. And then someone from you, X-Right X, is like, that's my boy Manny, my barber too. So I love someone coming in, someone who apparently comes to your shop, which is awesome. So love that. What was the best and worst thing about being on a set? Like, what was that experience like? Obviously, you're in a dream space with lots of awesome Lego, but like, I mean, 15 hours, that's an intense building period. So what was the best and worst thing about being in a set environment, in a studio environment? I don't think a lot of people have, you know, obviously been part of a show. So to get a little bit of a sense of what it was like to be on a set, really.
It's cold. It's very cold.
Cold, okay.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that jumps out. It's freezing.
Well, yeah, you know, it has to, the studios, you know, if people didn't know this, studios have to be at a certain temperature in order for the equipment not to like fry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that was like the craziest part about the whole thing, is like going into these studios and it was, you know, cold. So, you know, you're over here thinking about, you know, being warm at the same time. You know, we're here 15 hours trying to build some stuff with Lego, but I'm really not complaining about that, because the minute, you know, that big giant clock started counting down, trust me, you started getting like that cold sweat, like, wait a minute, stuff is real now, you know, we really have to get stuff going here.
100%.
I mean, there was times contradicting, you know, that the studio was cold. There was actually times, you know, where me and my dad were actually wiping sweat.
Damn, okay, so yeah, despite all the cold, you're still getting it.
So, I mean, yeah, that's just me, you know, being a critic.
But that's a cool thing. It's something you would never think about, right? Like, like what's the actual temperature like on set?
But as far as like being on there, again, there was that realistic thing going on in my head. Like, wait a minute, my dad's here. You know, like, so there was a certain level of composure, you know, that I had.
Gotcha.
So for me, like, I was always like calm and try to be cool, and, you know, just again, I was just so thankful for being there, you know, like
100%.
The whole process, you know, getting to where I was at. I'm over here like, wow, this is amazing. Wow. I mean, even weeks before anything happened, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Wow.
It's so cool to be just even having a chance, right?
Yeah. So then, me being there, and again, I could only speak as an individual. Individually, for me, being there with my dad, you know, my blood, my flesh, I knew that I was okay, because it's like we got each other.
Yeah.
You know, So again, I had this thing over me, like, making my dad proud, making sure, I didn't do anything, out of ordinary. Again, I am a father as well, so I am also a sensible, responsible guy.
Yeah.
What I really wanted to do was like roll over the Lego pit. What I really wanted to do was like dump all the Legos. Like, yeah, we made it.
Woo! Wait. Oh man, I want to like ask, but like I don't want to get you in trouble for saying something, so I'm gonna have to hold back because I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, is there like the big like pit of Lego that you can just jump in and go like Scrooge McDuck on, like,
I'm over here. I want to take like a whole thing of Legos and be like, yeah, like right here.
Don't do it. It's too much of a mess. Too much cleaning.
Yeah, but we couldn't do that. So now that you asked me that, that's probably like the first thing that I think of is that overwhelming feeling that I had, that urgency of just going over there to like the brick pit and just checking out what they had. But they were like, nope, not yet. You guys can't go over there yet. We need you to. So
that must have been hard. Must have been hard. Tough moment. Very cool. Very cool. And this is I had asked like my community members a little bit earlier, like what were some things that they wanted to know. So someone had asked, how did the time limits impact your building process? Did you find you really had to change how you go about building because of the time limit format of the show?
That is a very good question, and the answer to that is yes. You have to be very conscious, and you also have to be responsible with the time given.
Yeah.
That being said, I can only speak as an individual. Me and my dad, we were very precise with what we did. Mm-hmm. I constantly told my dad, listen, we have to build this in these 2 hours. There is no way that we could advance, or there's no way that we could proceed in our build until or unless we build A, B, and C in this amount of time.
Yeah.
You guys are really in for a treat in the show, and it will co-sign what I'm saying now, because, yeah, we were very strategic and we were very organized building what we built. I can't talk about any other contestants.
Sure. Yeah.
As far as me, Nick, and to whoever answered the question, yes, me as an individual, I actually took that initiative with my expertise and with my knowledge of like parts. And again, once you're painting the picture in your head, we have to physically do it with our hand. So I told my dad, there was actually times in different challenges where I told my dad, there is no way we're going to build this until or unless we build this by the 13th hour.
You kind of had like goals set out, timeline and everything put together. Gotcha.
And at the same time, there has to be planning involved. Yeah. So yeah, you have 15 hours yet again. You'll have 13 hours and 30 minutes because you just spent an hour and a half planning.
Yep.
In that hour and a half in your workstation planning, there are other teams and other groups potentially grabbing pieces
that you maybe want to be using.
That you might.
Oh wow, okay. So there was still a limited amount of things that like you could plan on something and then you might have to change that because the parts that you were looking for would disappear.
You said it, Nick.
No way. Oh, that's kind of a little. I would have not expected that. I would have just endless supply, right? That's what you think. It's an endless supply, but I guess there's a finite space and a finite amount of Lego in there.
Yeah. So I mean, if you did want to build something, you would then, and the parts aren't there, then you would have to spend time trying to figure out how to build what you want to build, but with other parts. Gotcha. So now the time's against you. Now you're trying to build something, with this one element piece, but it just so happened in that challenge, all those pieces in that bin are no longer there.
Crazy.
They're all gone. Yeah. Everybody used them up.
So many curveballs. Crazy. Well, thank you. That's an excellent insight into how things that would have impacted what you're going to be building. So I don't know if you're an avid user of them. I would say I use them on occasion. Illegal techniques are something that it's a word that's thrown around in the Lego community a fair bit. So are those something that you used previously? Were they something that were allowed on the show? Are you familiar with them at all? Illegal techniques.
You know what? I'm like an old school. I have like this old school sense of building.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I have this thing where, you know, I'll get like a Lego element and then I'll build something larger just based off that one
piece.
Like,
cool.
I find inspiration from like the littlest things, you know. If I see, you know, something Lego has done, I'm the type to like magnify it.
Okay, cool.
You know,
yeah, absolutely.
Lego came out with this castle, you know, 2012. Well, I just seem to put a roller coaster on it and make it so I find inspiration, you know, like on the littlest things. So when it comes to like building techniques and stuff like that, I mean, I try to stay original and old school.
Yeah, you respect the Lego system. You don't really push boundaries there. Okay.
Try not to, I really won't do that. And I'll be honest, thinking about it now, I actually picked up newer techniques being on the show.
Amazing.
And I guess that was only possible because of the access of bricks that I had of pieces, you know. I don't know anybody else that has 3 million, you know, pieces disposable unless you're in the Lego house. But
very true.
If you do have that, if you do possess that, obviously, there's so many techniques that you're gonna pick up because you have that availability.
Yeah. From the first week, because I did realize, especially as I've looked at like people asking questions on Facebook and stuff like that to a lot of the competitors, there was a lot that we actually didn't see from the builds, even just from the first week. So, was there any part of your builds from the first week, the theme park, the roller coaster, that we didn't get to see in the airing of the show that you really loved and maybe were really sad that we didn't get to check out? Because yours had obviously the awesome stop motion video, which did showcase some really cool parts. But I do feel like with how large the layouts were, it was obviously easy to miss stuff. So what might not we have seen?
All right, so the first challenge had 3 rules. First rule, again, was needed to be completed in 15 hours. It needed to have a power function. And it needed to work from your workstation all the way to the display room. Okay, cool. Those were the 3 rules to the first challenge. Now, I am the expert in Lego versus my dad. He is novice. So not only did I have the challenge of the show, but my challenge also was to show my dad the ropes of Lego and show him certain things. Again, my dad was more of the assistant versus all the other groups that had 2
builders working side by side. 100%.
So when we got presented this challenge, you know, with the theme park, and we got a section of the monorail, I intentionally got a section of that monorail that was open so I could create a centerpiece. From the get-go of the challenge, you know, the first couple minutes, I created this idea of Adventure Mountain, which was that tower. Now, personally, to us, we're beachgoers. My dad, he takes my mom to the beach all the time. They own a camper RV, so
nice.
My parents, they always go to the shore. So if you saw that, we did say that we love the water. We love, you know. So that's actually why we created that waterfall effect. So the power function on that was actually a pneumatic pump that raised this platform that was holding Legos, and it actually spewed out mini Lego.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It was actually colored censored that when the sensor read blue, the G started spinning.
Oh, no way. Oh, man.
Yeah, Nick.
That's crazy that we didn't get to see that. I'm mad about it. I'm mad about it.
That's actually something that I wanted everybody to see. And that's actually what made my dad proud. That technical build that we did. But at the same time, Nick, you want to know, you asked me how it was being there. I think we got sidetracked a little bit by like the cameras and lights because we didn't take advice from Jamie, you know, who he was actually looking forward to seeing, you know, his iconic roller coaster, you know, to think that he was the first one that built, you know, that roller coaster.
Oh, I know he had been pushing for a roller coaster set for many, many years before this set came out. So
yeah, so then comes little old me here filling it around with these roller coaster parts. He's expecting far greater than, you know, what we presented, which is fine. It's understandable. And, you know, for him and, you know, all respect to the guy, you know, I guess, we should have listened more to what he was saying.
Gotta cater a little bit, right?
Yeah, again, his expectations were high. You know, we're Lego masters here. You know, you're over here playing with roller coaster parts, Manny. Show me something big.
Yeah.
So then when it was time to present the roller coaster, I mean, we could have pitched them all sorts of stuff, but still, you know, I try to change it, you know, well, this is a playable roller coaster in which you just push, you know, but it goes halfway, so he was half impressed.
Gotcha.
I understood that. That was completely understandable. You know, but they still were impressed on, you know, the water function and the power function of the sign based on the color sensor that we had. So, yeah. And then again, you know, my dad's over here like, Manny, that's great, you know, and I'm over here fueled and powered by what my dad's saying.
Yeah. Getting that
motivation.
motivation.
So then being final two, it's like, oh, what did we do wrong? But, you know, we just take the constructive, you know, criticism and we just apply it, you know, and again, it's all growth.
So we'll see how things go tomorrow. Hopefully we'll see a big improvement from you guys.
You guys
okay, good. He's hyping it up, guys, so we're gonna hold him to it.
Yes.
And so I feel like you've touched about that, like back on this a lot throughout our conversation here. But what, like, just for anyone who maybe is just joining us now, or you know, and maybe it's like a TLDR, just a last minute summary of our conversation here. What was your biggest takeaway from being on the show?
I think it teaches. Lego has always taught me patience. You know, I tell people that one of my greatest attributes is patient. I'm actually like a very, very patient guy. Yeah. And that's all thanks to Lego. The thing that I could take away, besides the amazing friendships from everybody that participated, I mean, on and off camera. I mean,
you guys were like a very close-knit family from everything I've been hearing. Like, it was very little, like, actual rivalry or anything like that, right?
Yeah, I could actually consider everybody, you know, brothers and sisters. I mean, my dad had like this my dad had this like effect on everybody, like, you know what, your dad reminds me of my dad, you know, like people just, my dad rubbed everybody off like, you know what, your dad, Manny, he's like my dad. Like I look at your dad and I think of my dad. So I mean, for us to just have like that profound effect on people, again, we're not jerks. We're not, you know, these, you know, we're very humble people. Again, we're Puerto Rican. We've experienced a lot. We've been through a lot. And so we're very resilient people. And we're very colorful. We're very vibrant. We're very outspoken as well. But at the same time, we're very humble. Me and my dad, we just took everything in. Because again, it was just such an amazing experience just being there. Again, my dad was always telling me, hey, Manny, you know, check that out. Hey, Manny, peep that out. Hey, Manny, have you ever seen that? Hey, Manny, wow. And you could see, like, how impressed and how amazed my dad was at 66 years old. I mean.
So awesome. So awesome.
Yeah, to think that, you know, he's been through a lot, experienced so much. But even he himself, like, he was in awe. Like, he's 66, and to think, you know, like, this childhood toy, like, this child toy, even had him like, wow, hey, Manny, check that out. And I'm like, I'm right here, Dad. Like, that was amazing. The how tighter me and my dad got. You know, I would say that that's like the biggest thing. How strong me and my dad's relationship got.
Yeah.
We made our family proud. You know, everybody in our family is very happy that we were able to do this experience.
Yeah.
Again, Nick, you know, I could only speak as an individual. Me, I did it with my father. So with that said, I grew a lot, you know, as a son, as a father, as an enthusiast of Lego. Having Jamie and Amy critique my stuff for Christ's sake is like amazing, you know. Even though, you know, they could have been like, you know what, Manny, this was a half roller coaster. I'm half impressed. You guys missed the part when he was like, great job. That's awesome.
Okay.
You know, so
for sure.
Even that, you know, is amazing. You know, even to have Jamie and Amy still say, you know what, guys, that's an amazing build. Like, you guys did great, phenomenal job. And not only for me, but they actually showed that same love to everybody else.
Awesome.
There wasn't no favoritism. There wasn't no one better than nobody here. You know,
everybody was given an equal shot.
That was actually established like in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like in the beginning, we all had like this connection. Like we were able to fathom and put each other in everybody's shoes. Like we were that cool. Yeah. You know.
That's awesome. So good. So good. All right, I'm going to open things up to our community members. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. I do have one question already here from Dan in the past. How did Team G feel when they took a bat to the build? I think we saw a lot of previews for tomorrow's episode that there are baseball bats involved. Did your build have to be subjected to that? And how did that feel, if so? As much as you can say anyways. Of course, the episode isn't aired, so obviously you can't get too in-depth here. But
for a treat, for tomorrow's show, there were actually 3 methods of destruction.
Oh.
One was the spaceball bat. I will not say what the other 2 were.
Okay.
You guys sort of some surprises in store. Yeah. But I could say, tomorrow. Well, I'm pretty sure, that they already aired what the challenges were.
Okay. Yeah. Talked a little bit about it.
Yeah. So tomorrow is the space theme. I guess it is safe to say that.
Yeah.
So it is going to be an interesting show. Everybody got a different method of destruction, so you're not going to see the same madness of destruction. You know, for all the teams. You know, it's different. So I'm pretty sure we're all excited for tomorrow's.
Okay.
Show.
All good.
Yeah.
All right. I'm excited to see your reaction to however it went down, because I can only imagine spending X amount of time, you know, getting into some building and then just having it all taken away in a few seconds with whatever crazy method they might be using. So, and honestly, I'm really excited to see the impact that this show actually has. Like, I'm hoping it reignites a lot of people's excitement for building, and we start to see more people popping up just building some awesome, crazy stuff. So I think that's going to be a really cool aspect of having the show be a thing, right?
Yeah. And again, I think the show really teaches and shows that we could do and we could create things, you know, outside of a screen or, you know, batteries or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the power functions, that's just extra. But I think this show is going to show, you know, that you could really interact and you could actually have a relationship with somebody, you know, with these plastic bricks, you know.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it actually is showing, you know, that the dynamic of people, you know, from Tyler and Amy, who are newlyweds, to Corey and Travis, who are brothers, and me and my dad, who are father and son. So I think this show is doing an amazing job showing everyone, you know, that sort of connection and relationships with the bond of Lego.
Yeah. It brings people together, man. Just like the bricks come together, people come together around it too. That's 100% the case.
Listen to Boone and Mark's testimony. You know, they were in Lego store.
Yeah, randomly running into each other and becoming friends that way.
Into each other.
Yeah.
So I guess with that testimony, I think the show will magnify and really co-sign that initial day of them meeting together. Like, that is possible. Like, you could actually have an awesome relationship and bond with somebody with Lego, you know, and you could be strangers, and all of a sudden, you know, you guys are just the best as a friend, you know?
100%. And I can definitely say I've had very much a similar experience here, even just here on Twitch, with all my viewers and communities, like the friends that I've met from all over the world. It's such a magical little thing. And like, in a way, you might look at Lego and go, oh, what a silly kid's toy, right? But it's so much more than that. And I can't wait to see how Lego Masters continues to kind of show how that can be the case. So
yeah,
really, really awesome.
Oh my God, yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow's show. I'm excited for all the other challenges. Oh yeah, everyone's in for a treat tomorrow. That's for sure. Awesome
to hear. Well, Manny, that's gonna be a wrap for us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, chat. Can we get some like just love and hype in general for Manny joining us? And guys, of course, please make sure you go check him out on Instagram. Keep up with not only all the awesome stuff he's doing on the show, but all the awesome stuff he's doing himself. We've obviously got a very exciting build to look out for with the castle that he's been working on. And I saw the treehouse he had built recently, just beautiful stuff. I know he's got that handy, so hype indeed, guys. Hype indeed.
This is actually gonna be the first one that I'm introduced outside of the castle, but you guys stay tuned for that.
Well, there you go, guys. There you go.
Nick, can I tell you, everybody that's out there listening, keep following Nick. Nick, hope to see you soon. Thank you so much. Appreciate you for having me.
It was awesome having you, my friend. It is. We are so lucky to have you joining us. So, just thank you. Manny, we're gonna sign off. Really appreciate it. We will. We'll be keeping up with you, of course. Best of luck with the rest of the show. And take it easy, my friend. Ciao.
Keep building out there. See y'all.